Hi, thank you for joining me on Wilderness with Amani. Today I'm back at the Bishop Pass Trailhead, and I'm just going to be doing a short hike, 2.5 miles or so, to Treasure Lakes. I heard there's golden trout or a hybrid golden trout in there with rainbows. I'm not sure. A lot of that stuff you read online is outdated, so the only way I'm going to know what's up there is if I hike up there and get my line in the water. So before I start talking about fishing, let's get to hiking. So it's a short hike. A few weeks ago I had hiked up to Long Lake and Ruwau Lake, and we're going to take the fork in the trail that goes in the other direction today. And this is not, there's a lot of Treasure Lakes. I have another Treasure Lakes on my channel, on my hiking and backpacking playlist for the Treasure Lakes in the Little Lakes Valley. This is the Treasure Lakes off the Bishop Pass Trailhead. I'm getting a pretty early start today, but it's not as early as it should be because I woke up at 6 o'clock in the morning and I realized I left my camera at the back of South Lake at the Inlet Creek yesterday evening. I fished the creeks behind South Lake for Wilderness with Amani Patreon, and when I shot the conclusion, I left my camera sitting on a tree stump. So I had to throw my boots on because I knew right away what had happened. I threw my boots on and pretty much jogged to the back of South Lake and back. So I'm not starting cold today. So if you watch my hike to Long Lake off Bishop Pass Trailhead, you've already seen the first section of this hike. And you know, there's a lot of uphill, but once you get to the back of South Lake, that's where it forks. The first half mile, your respiratory system, everything's gonna get a good kicking. So when you're doing this trail, just drink a lot of water and be prepared to go up right out of the gate. It's not crazy, but it's a steady climb. You know, that early morning sun is hitting the mountains. Starting to get up here, and if I remember correctly, at least for a while, there's some decent tree cover. I hike on so many trails, I get them mixed up. I have a merging of memories. So it's always kind of new. Even though I've hiked up this a couple times this summer already. And here's some of that nice, well manicured, set stone steps. And down in the parking lot, there's a van for the CCC, the Civilian Conservation Corps, and a CCC truck. And I think they are probably up here working on trail maintenance. And I run into these groups on the trail a couple times over the year. And the CCC is great because it gets young people out here and they get a really good opportunity to work on trails in the outdoors, gain an appreciation for the wilderness areas and the national forest lands, and it just builds the next generation of people who are going to look out for these places. I remember I saw these guys hiking up through when I was going to Cottonwood Lakes once, and they were carrying their tools and they were pulling logs out of the way. It was early in the year. It was a really good thing to see. And when you're hiking down these trails, you don't always think about the effort that goes into trail maintenance, but man, I've seen it in action. Made some little switchbacks, nothing too crazy. And so obviously horses or pack mules use this trail as well. And there's a pack station down there. So if you have physical challenges that keep you from getting up here, that's always an option. Once again, we're into the John Muir Wilderness. So we're at the point where I'm hitting new trail for the first time for myself, personally. There's Bishop Pass that way. That's where my hike to Long Lake video goes to. I'm a hiking and backpacking playlist. Today, we're breaking right. We're going for Treasure Lakes. So, right it is. Those of you who have watched a lot of the content on my hiking and backpacking playlist probably notice I don't do a lot of long hikes. I don't do like the 40-mile loops and stuff. I just met a mom and her 2 kids down by the trailhead, and they're hiking to Whitney Portal. I mean, that's far. I usually hike in, 3 to 5 miles, and if there's something I want to do around that area, I'll pack a day pack in my overnight pack. Because I like the physical challenge of hiking, and I like to see the scenery and everything and how it gets revealed. But hiking isn't my favorite part of a trip. Fishing is. I hike to fish. And I also hate breaking down and setting up camp, because all of my energy needs to go to fishing, and that's how it's always been since I was a kid. So if you're looking for someone who's gonna go on like a 2-week adventure or 1-week adventure, where I'm just hiking, hitting the John Muir Trail, hitting the Pacific Crest Trail, you'll only see little pieces of those trails with me, because I don't do the long haul trips. Never have, never will. Here's a cool little stream. I'm looking, I don't see any fish in it. I always look, but I'm assuming this is usually probably close to being dry by this time of year. Doesn't mean there's not fish in it though. Man, this tree cover is great. And with the sun rising over there, even for people that get a little bit of a later start, this tree cover is going to give them some nice protection. So many trails in the Sierras are the same, but they're different. They're the same, but different. I think you know what I'm talking about. Because like, you get these glimpses of these snapshots of the fallen deadwood. That's the next generation of soil coming up once those decompose. And then you got the living stuff and the granite. It's just so beautiful. And I really like hiking in the morning because you get the light, the sunlight penetrating the trees. It's really cool. I can really hear the creeks raging down there. I mean, there's some good flow. There you go. How do you like that? And down there, where all that weird red grass is growing, that's where I fished for Wilderness with Amani Patreon yesterday. So look how beautiful that is. That's good. When the lake gets up, that's all gonna be underwater. And you can see the high water mark there. Man, this is steep. That's a cliff. These logs are here. I like those logs. They make me feel better. I don't know if they'd save me, but they make me feel better. If you fall down that, you might not certainly die, but a body cast over your entire body. You just have like your head sticking out maybe. Or maybe your head would be in a cast too. All right, I'm dropping down quite a bit. So, I don't know. It's almost like I'm giving up all that altitude gain just so I can do it again. I've dropped way down, and that is some really healthy creek flow for mid-August. Look at that white water, baby. That looks great, man. Another cool little creek. I'm cruising along some nice, flat area, and I'm about to go downhill more. I don't want to go down anymore. Experience tells me with all of this down, I'm gonna have to gain it all back. Cool stream. It's just one of the 3 inlets that goes in to South Lake. Oh yeah, I just saw a nice brookie. There's nice fish in here. Man. It's a cool footbridge. Gets right over this little stream. Really pretty little stream. So I'm not sure. Right after you pass those inlet creeks, it looks like it's time to pay the piper for all of that downhill. And I got a sneaking suspicion it's a greedy piper that wants all of his money. It's paying the piper. It's a cool trail though. Looks like they poured some concrete in this section. Probably to keep it from washing away. Now I'm going pretty steep. Hopefully it's short and steep. Cause you start hiking at South Lake pretty high. And I only need to net like 1,600 feet, I think. But rather than speculate on what's to come, I guess I should just hike it, right? I am powering uphill. It's times like this I'm grateful I'm only wearing a day pack. The uphill is pretty gnarly, but these tight switchbacks, I like their style. I went from a nice leisurely stroll to the trail becoming really hostile in a minute. And there's South Lake. As you can see, the water goes almost all the way to the dam now. I think it might even be touching the dam. And it was nowhere near the dam the last time I hiked up here. It was before all those rainstorms. We are up above that nice lush forest now. Now we're just scattered trees in sunlight. Cool waterfall. I bet you there's fish in there. I just walked up to this pool and there was like an 8-inch brookie sitting right there. And he swam over to that faster water. So I just saw a guy that has been camping up at Treasure Lakes and I asked him if he saw any fish. And he said, oh, I saw lots of fish. And I always like that. I've been hiking to lakes before where I've asked people, did you see any fish? And they're like, fish? We didn't see anything. There was nothing, no risers, nothing. I hear that, my heart sinks. I can see a little trout swimming right there. I wonder if it's a golden. It looks like it could be a golden. I don't know. Or a rainbow. He's a little guy, he's just cruising around this shallow water. When I start seeing stuff like this, I know I'm getting close. There's another one right there. See him swimming. I've been going straight uphill for about a mile now, so I'm battling. But I hear that river firing, and seeing those trout got me fired up. It's a killer shot of the 3/4 moon above there. It's beautiful. And we are way up here. We started way down there by the dam. Way off in the distance, way down below. Well, I'm here. I believe this is the big treasure lake. And I'm seeing fish rising everywhere. So this ought to be fun. But there it is. And there's several treasure lakes. I think 1 and 2 are the only ones with fish. I think the other ones are being managed as fishless for that pesky yellow-legged frog. Well, I'm here, and I'm ready to do some fishing. And that hike, I read one place it was 2.5 miles, one place it was 2.75. It felt like 3 to me, so I don't know. Those of you with GPS and those of you that have more time to look it up and research it or go to All Trails or whatever, you can get an exact mileage on that. Snow, you got some steep uphill, especially the last leg of the hike is all uphill. But it's great. I'm here. I'm ready to fish. I hope you enjoyed the hike to Treasure Lakes. Not the Treasure Lakes I already have up, the other Treasure Lakes up the Bishop Pass Trailhead. Thank you for joining me on Wilderness with Amani. Until next time.